first, I'm going to take the first point on how you can really build out a strategy that kind of connects the customer marketing needs to your own. So this is the framework of how we build our strategy, and at the top is the mission. This is kind of our gold star, our North Star. What you want to do is make sure that you are perceived as a critical partner for your customers. So even though that they might be going through a renewal or something that makes them a little unhappy, at the end of the day, they know that you're critical to their success. So they'll stick with you and they'll feel loyal to you. And how you do this is, again, creating that valuable customer experience that is meeting your business objectives. So thinking back to Ashley's timeline, we were not doing this in the beginning. We were really focused on CarGurus business objectives and what we wanted to say to the customer, what we wanted to get them to do, but not really thinking about what they wanted to hear and kind of what their expectations were at the time. By putting those two together, it's really helped us on both sides. The customers get what they want, and they in turn kind of meet those business objectives more often. So we kind of look at these 5 key factors to how you can be seen as a critical partner for your customers. So I'm going to go through these in more detail, but it's all about transparency of their performance, adoption of any of the tools or kind of services that they might get from being a customer with you, strong relationships with your company, so not just the individual reps that they deal with, but also feeling that relationship with your company as well. Along the same lines, recognizing your company brand, and then if it pertains to you, getting them invested in additional products. So if you do this well, then the fatigue will be less for customers. They're not going to be bombarded with competing messages and too many messages, and they'll be more satisfied. And then in turn, on kind of the business objective side, should get more qualified leads, as well as the thing that customer marketing is working most towards, making sure that our customers aren't canceling. So I'm going to talk through each of the key factors in a little bit more detail. First up, being transparent with customer performance. So this is important because if your customer does not know the value that you're giving them, then it's going to be really hard for them to prescribe any value to being a partner with you. Besides that, it's also an opportunity for consultative touch points for marketing messages as well as sales enablement on that side. So being able to help them improve their performance is a really good reason for account management to reach out. So some tips that we've encountered along the way in regards to performance, transparency of performance. Don't skip over the bad. Sometimes people might want to, but you have to be transparent and show the good and the bad. And if you put the bad in a context, it can be an opportunity that you can actually help show that you're trying to help them improve the maybe lackluster performance. So show the bad and use it as an opportunity for marketing as well as your account management team to help them with, hey, you're coming in low here, but this is how we can kind of help using our tools and using our really experienced account management team. These touch points for performance are really high value. They're our best performing. So definitely think about how you can leverage those performance touch points to get them to try to do other actions. So we want dealers to sign into their dashboard. So we focus on performance in those emails, but also put a lot of call to actions to get them to log into the dashboard. And then I think as you're thinking about what type of performance, think beyond the obvious performance. So beyond, you obviously have to send them almost transactional emails of kind of whatever, like why they signed on with your company. For us, that's shopper leads. But I think beyond, show trends, maybe month over month or growth in a certain aspect. Also how they're doing against either industry benchmarks or regional benchmarks. If it's not your team, then maybe your data or product team can even help dive into those insights. So at CarGurus, we have these monthly performance emails. They are some of our best performing. Dealers are looking for these all the time. And you can see at the top are the more transactional information that we're giving them. So phone leads, map clicks, things like that. And then the second screen at the bottom are where more of those consultative insights come into play. There's also a bunch of links there that drive them to the dashboard, like I said before. Performance is also a really good category to enable the account managers. So here's an example of a deck that we put together to help them tell the story and really go, dive in one-to-one with some of their dealers on performance. So next up is mobilizing your customers to optimize this performance by using any of the tools that you might provide. For us, it's this dashboard that I've been talking about. One important tip that kind of took us a little bit to learn is not to put all of your resources onto these kind of fringe cases of the customer base. So again, going back to Ashley's timeline, customer marketing was developed because of renewals. So we spent a lot of our resources, all of them, first focused on at-risk customers and the small but important group. When really you should be focusing on, okay, what is the experience of the masses and how can I get them more educated and get them more engaged there. Training resources and learning tools are also, because it's so engaging, a really good place to source feedback from. So getting feedback on the tools themselves and that they're serving their purpose of actually teaching the customer what they need to know. And also getting feedback on the product that they're learning about or the tool that they're learning about. So this is an area that we work pretty closely with the product team on to drive any product changes based on kind of the customer experience. So at CarGurus, we have a training campaign that happens when they're onboarding. It's called the Crash Course, and this is getting them familiar with our platform and setting them up for success in the future. And if they do fall off, we also have a re-engagement campaign as well. So if they haven't logged in for 30 days, they'll get similar content, but framed more into re-education and reminding them why they should be signing into the platform. So I think that we all know relationship building is important from a sales standpoint, but sometimes I think B2B marketing teams might forget that it's an important aspect of the customer marketing strategy as well. So not only do we want to foster places for reps to build that relationship with their accounts, but we also want them, the customers, our dealers, to feel a sense of relationship with the company too. The main way you can do this is by really showing sincerity in the message, especially with kind of insights and learning content that you're developing, really showing them that you're on their side. And the way you portray it, being sincere so that it's not just a hook that you're, hey, I'll give you these 10 best practices and then immediately get followed up with a sale kind of message there. And then the last tip that we're actually still working on, a big focus for us this year, is rewarding our customers for success on the platform. So celebrating those wins, and we're mapping out all of the milestone moments and what we think should be celebrated. And this can be anything from, the first shopper that comes through the CarGurus platform to your 500th shopper or something like that. And just being able to set up a quick email, or even if it's a social media shout out, really quick things that you can do that would go a long way with the customer.